Hello, hi guys, this is JRTB. Right now we're looking at a USDA inspection vehicle here. I just want to talk about how the world works in terms of the government and the people, and how there is certain red tape, certain government oversight, and for example, he must probably check all these containers for bugs or parasites or diseases in the food, and it extends everywhere. You have a lot of people, construction contractors or people from like Uber doing 1099s, where they have these independent contractors. They make them, and what happens is um, it makes it so that the people that get the 1099s often they won't pay their taxes, and in turn, you get less tax revenue coming in, because that if the companies had to pay their taxes and regular workers, and that but in a way it affects like the taxi drivers instead of the Uber drivers. The taxi drivers have strong unions, and they want to be treated as equal in the playing field, and so it's just interesting things to consider about how people operate, and whether the IRS is willing to go after people for tax evasion. Sometimes it's not financially advantageous for them to do that. Sometimes they will take a profit loss, that IRS will, but they get some publicity in terms of paying, you know, people paying taxes. But what's interesting is it's a nice truck there, nice Freightliner. What's interesting is the interplay between, can we trust the government? Is taxes fair? Is there too much spent on the military? Just all things to really consider. And then all these things about tariffs and, all stuff, shipping, stuff. It's all stuff that really should be contemplated. And even transportation, like the rail. They're building the rail out here in Hawaii. This is all rail construction out here. So we need to think of how all these things interplay in society, and what the solutions are, what the most energy efficient solutions are. Like, for example, I mean, look at all this. We got gas coming out of here. We got a lot of stuff going on here, and we really should be asking the question of, like, for example, there's this heat generator that it kind of generates like a magnetic something. There's all this specialized technology, and then refuse. Like, what do we do with all the trash? Do we burn it? Do we make less trash? These are all things, questions to always in the interest of making society more and more efficient and green. And, like, for example, a train and bus instead of cars. Cars can be fun, but they also are damaging towards the environment, and they're very costly. If you are trying to identify with the car, it's a costly hobby, if you will. So just different things to consider in terms of the global operations of things, and even things like storage. Like, what are people storing? What are we doing? Maybe we can do things like, instead of having to pay taxes, or I mean to say, instead of having to pay, that's a nice effect there. Instead of having to pay, other countries to make our goods, and then maybe services are more valuable than products, like massage therapy. Instead of buying fancy things or toys, whatever, different options in society. I just want to bring it to a conscious area, conscious awareness, and yeah, thanks you guys for considering my expressions here. I'm really trying to make the world a more enjoyable place to live, but that takes time, and learning from our mistakes, and learning what makes us move, and what's just people trying to make money off of us, like mental programming, advertising, programming, you know. So thank you guys. Aloha.